especially with the ongoing Olympic Games. So again, thank you very much for your support. Members of staff, directors, other stakeholders, welcome to you all. We greatly appreciate it. Before we get into this morning's press conference, just to introduce the persons we have with us at our head table, let me start from my furthest left. We have the chairman of the Jamaica Football Federation Technical Committee, Mr. Rudolph Speed. To his immediate right, we have the General Secretary of the Jamaica Football Federation, Mr. Dennis Chung. To his immediate right, please let us give us a very warm welcome to Mr. Steve McClaren, the new head coach of the REGGAE BOYZ. And finally, but certainly by no means least, the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, Mr. Michael Ricketts. Before we get into some opening remarks, let's first commence with a word of prayer before we have some words from our head table, where we will commence now. Let us pray. Our loving, kind Heavenly Father, we're grateful, thankful for another wonderful day that you have provided for us. At this point in time, we kindly ask that you may help us so that we can continue to unite as a nation, especially in the matters of football, to continue to grow, develop, and reach out for greatness that lies ahead. We ask all of us as well that you may continue to unite us, all stakeholders that are involved, staff, administration, players, the entire nation of Jamaica, Jamaicans here and abroad, to accomplish the mission in football and achieve greatness for our nation. We ask all these things now through your loving Son, Christ Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So to commence proceedings, we're going to start with a few opening remarks by our president, Mr. Michael Ricketts.
Thank you very much, Simon. Let me first and foremost recognize those who are seated at the head table. Of course, Mr. Rudolph Speed, our General Secretary, Mr. Dennis Chung, and of course, probably the most important person here this morning, Mr. Steve McClaren. Also like to recognize Messrs. Grant and Watson, two of our directors, of course, our staff members, and importantly, respective members from various media houses. Thank you so much. And of course, staff members, very important. So today, we will formally introduce to Jamaica, by extension to the world, Mr. Steve McClaren. Okay, sorry, Mr. Denzel Thorpe, just walked in. He's a permanent secretary for the Ministry of Sports, representing Minister Grange. So thanks for being here, sir. So indeed, we are welcoming Mr. McClaren, and most of you would have understood by now the process of us being here this morning. I'm just very excited at the prospects when you think of Mr. McClaren's achievements as a coach. Then it gives us reason to feel extremely optimistic. The big picture here, gentlemen and ladies, is of course World Cup 2026. And coach will be charged with the responsibility of getting us there. We had a short discussion this morning, and he seems quite optimistic, seems very positive, and we will be, before the day ends, we'll be having some discussions based on the composition of the squad for September 6th game. We do not have a lot of time, so we must, in fact, coach must hit the track running. He would have brought with him Mr. Richard Artist, who will be his assistant and also the goalkeeper coach. we are intent on getting to the World Cup in 2026. This program will not be derailed. And I see Mr. Thorpe here, and I want to use this opportunity to commend the office. I've been reliably informed that the lights at the National Stadium have met CONCACAF's standards, which means that we will be having night games at the National Stadium from here on. Please convey our regards to Minister Grange, sir, and of course, all the stakeholders who would have played a part in this progress. So, Rudolph Speed will probably speak a little bit more in detail on the coach's job, he being a technical person. But we are all very, very excited. When we lost Coach Hal Grimson, and it became public knowledge that we were looking for a new coach, we had in excess of 40 applicants. And even when we had signed off on Coach McClaren, people are still applying. But like I've said, we're intent on getting things right. We will not allow ourselves to get distracted. And having had discussions with Coach this morning, he also is intent on getting us to the World Cup. I want to implore all the staff members that will work with Coach McClaren that this is no time to idle. We must be very, very serious about what we have to do. We must ensure that we exhibit the highest level of professionalism. We can't afford to do things that will make the coach unhappy, will make the coach feel discouraged. And like I said to him this morning, Coach, you're coming from a first world country. We might not be able to give you everything that you would like, but we will give you the best of what we have to offer. We're going to work together, the JFF, coaching staff, the JFF administrating staff, directors. We want to all operate as a unit, form an alliance that will take us to the World Cup. We can't afford to miss this opportunity. And we were intent on putting things in place. And we went for Coach Hal Grimson. It was with that in mind. Now that we have to shift directions, we honestly think that it could be a blessing to have Coach McClaren with us. Later on, we will open the floor for questions. But again, I want to say thanks for all of you who have made it possible to be here this morning. Very, very important exercise today. When Mr. Speed told me that the recommendation will be Mr. McClaren, and we brought it to the board, it was supported overwhelmingly. I know that Jamaica is excited. I know the world is excited. Let's just stay focused, stay strong. We have to be tough mentally. And I want you to give us some support rather than tearing us down. Just stay strong. Be patient. We will be at the World Cup in 2026. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ricketts. Really appreciate it. Up next, we'll have Mr. Speed that will also give a few opening remarks as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master. Sermon is Simon Preston, President of the Jamaica Football Federation, Michael Ricketts, Coach Steve McClaren, you are here, and General Secretary Dennis Chung, members of the media, supporters, staff, everybody, good morning. So, a lot of people believe that the technical committee is just for choosing coaches. It's really a small part of what we do, but whenever the challenge comes up, we have to step forward and do the best we can. Now, we have a lot of drawbacks, as the president would have mentioned, including resources. But in this instance, I'm pleased to say the JFF did not advertise this position. We did so we chose the list of coaches by a number of methods: headhunting, persons that we went for, coaches that were recommended to us, and some coaches who just applied on their own. And it is true, I think the president stopped counting, but we did get more than 50 coaches before we decided to choose a person who will take the reins for the next 2.5 years. And we got down to some very interesting persons. We got people from all over the world: Australia, Argentina, Oceania, USA, Europe. But at the end of the day, it was always going to be one coach. He literally ticked all the boxes. Coach our international team before, win a title in one of the big countries in the world. As you might know, he won the Dutch League, won Champions League with Sir Alex Ferguson, was assistant coach for England, was the coach for our national team. Also, he was the boss of Ten Hag when he was at 20. You know, the world comes around, Ten Hag became his boss at Manchester United. Coach was currently in a job at Manchester United as the head coach. He's very au fait with top class players, world class players. He has coached them all. And eventually there was nobody that had the CV of this particular coach. And that is why it was a no-brainer to choose him. Now, the good thing is that when two parties want the same thing, Coach McClaren also did a study of the Jamaica ecosystem when he was working for FIFA. So he knows about us very well. His best friend here is Wendell Downswell, not me. Right? So he knows about us very well. And so it was really two persons having the same goal that actually came together. And that is why I was able to land this coach. Just to say, you know, we now have a good coach in our ranks, but now the JFF, our committee will be focusing on development, local development, which we have some things that we're going to be put in place, and you'll hear about it soon. Definitely we have to look at our younger players under 13, 15, 17, 20 as to the reason why we performed so dismally in the last couple of years. So that is what our committee will be focused on in the future. So you'll be hearing more about that later. But for now, Coach, welcome. And I believe that the coach will bring us to what is our number one objective. Number two, number three objective is to go to the World Cup in 2026. Coach, thanks for being here, and thank everybody for attending.
Thank you. Let me recognize also Simon Prezi, Coach. Welcome to Jamaica. Thanks for being here. Of course, our hardworking chairman of the technical committee, Rudolph Speed, our directors, VP Raymond Grant, VP Baron Watson, other directors online, our permanent secretary, of course, who never leaves us and always has goodies for us. I don't know what happened today, yes, but we're expecting something big, right, President? a lot of money. Yeah. But thanks a lot for being here, PS, representing the minister. I know the minister is in Paris now. She has gone to Paris. Almost. Our media, of course, we can't do it without you. Thanks for being here. The staff that's here, thanks a lot for the support. Of course, we have Mr. Love here from there also, who had to come upstairs when he heard that the coach is there. Thanks, everyone. I don't have much to say, but just to welcome the coach. You know, what I can say is that the same day that we had received the resignation of the former coach, we started getting applications right away. That same night. So we know that it is a very interesting job, a very attractive job. And we look forward, coach, to supporting you on this journey. As the president said, we don't have a lot of money, but we'll give you what we can, you know, what you need, and support you the best way we can. And you can always say to us, you know, what you're not happy with, what you're happy with. We expect that. We expect that the public and the media, of course, is going to support us on this journey. As the president says, you know, we will be going to World Cup. I see that Rhea Nevy is here. Rhea Nevy has just come on as a major sponsor. I want to thank all our sponsors also for supporting this. We will be coming to meet with Corporate Jamaica. The coach has said he wants to meet with everyone. I don't know if you want to meet with Rhea Nevy first, coach. They made the wrong. But certainly, I know the coach will be out there. So thanks a lot, coach. Thanks, media. Thanks, everyone, for coming. I know you didn't come here to hear me, so I will leave the comments up to the coach now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speed, and also Mr. Chung as well. So now we get to the moment that everybody here is looking forward. The next person to speak is no stranger to Jamaica or Jamaican footballers. He's had the opportunity to work with national players, likes of Dion Burton, Darrell Powell, Wes Morgan, Gareth McClaren, and many, many others develop into their craft as professionals. He was born in North Yorkshire and has the characteristic states of a Yorkshireman who is tenacious, hardworking, and efficient. Well, we certainly look forward to these qualities and much more on the journey to the World Cup in 2026. Everyone, Mr. Steve McClaren, head coach of the Reggae Boys.
I must say thank you very much to Mr. Speed, Mr. Chung, and the President, and Simon for the kind words. I've got to say, the moment I got on the plane to come over yesterday, through the airport, in the hotel, coming to meet the staff this morning, I've had a real warm welcome and a really, really good feeling about coming here, taking this job, and with the vision of the World Cup in 26. But I always knew that this country has unbelievable potential and talent, because I was technical expert for FIFA for 2 years, working on the ecosystem, which really analyzed every country in the world, and we analyzed 210 countries. I analyzed about 20, of which Jamaica was one of them. I feel I know everybody personally, because I met through Zoom because it was COVID. So after doing the analysis and the report, 3 years ago, Jamaica has always been in the back of my mind, because it was the one country in which the potential and the talent is here. And there is such a lot to do. What I've seen over the last 2 years is unbelievable development. And that's credit to Mr. President and Mr. Chung and Mr. Speed and all the staff. It's a credit what you have achieved over the last 2 years, in terms of when I said to FIFA and the recommendations that we said, coach education, development of local talents. everything about heritage players, bringing them on board, has really, in the last 2 years, the committee, the staff, the coaches, and the previous coach, I believe, have done a great job. It's my job now to take the baton and to carry that on. And I spoke with Jaime a couple of weeks ago, and he said to me, I just wanted to leave the shirt in a better place. And I think that's exactly what I want to do. Leave the shirt in a better place. Jamaican football in a better place. Hopefully. And the vision is 2026. Is development of coaches, is development of the talent that is on this island, It's not about resources, it's about people, it's about behaviors, and it's about standards. And they're the three main things that we'll be targeting. We might not have the greatest resources, but it's the people, commitment, standards, and behavior that will make the difference. And that's what we are all here to work towards. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach McClaren. Really appreciate that. Before we get into question and answer from the media, we're going to now have a presentation between the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, Mr. Michael Ricketts, and also Coach McClaren. Thank you very much, photographers. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, thank you very much. So now we'll open the floor for questions from the media. What I would kindly encourage is utilize this opportunity, because certainly for Coach McClaren, he has some obligations in the afternoon. So please utilize this opportunity right now so that he can be able to answer your questions at this point, and we get the show on the road. So please indicate by raising your hand, and then after that you may proceed with your question as well. Yes, you may come in to Roger from RFM. Yeah.
Thank you, Roger.
How are you going to instill that within the psyche of 7,000 philosophy?
I think it's not just my philosophy, but it's a philosophy over the years that has brought success to many managers, business people, politicians. It's the bedrock of any team. And if you're going to be successful, that's what you need. It's not all about resources and money. That does help. And you do need to get the best people, but you need a good culture. That's one thing from 3 years ago working with FIFA. I learned a lot about the culture of Jamaican football, and I want to carry that on. I want to learn more. I want to experience more. That's why I came here. It's one of the main reasons. It's a new challenge for me. I left a very good job and a very good club to come on this project. And I believe in it. That's why I'm here. And I believe in the people because I've known the people before. After our conversations in the process to being the head coach, the vision, the dream, what they wanted to put in place was all there. And for me, I'm excited about this project. I'm excited about the next 18 months, but it's going to be hard work. A lot of work has been done already. There is still a long way to go. And yeah, still a lot of work to do. But by them values, we'll certainly progress and go forward.
One more. People say you have left a dream job to come to Jamaica. What would have been that determining final thing? I'm certain that you would have slept on it or thinking in your mind if this is a good thing for you or what. What would have been that tilting factor for you accepting the job in the end?
Yeah, I mean, look, my ex-assistant and now head coach at Manchester United, Eric Ten Hag, approached me to join his staff 2 years ago. And it was like full circle for me from 20 years ago, working with Sir Alex Ferguson, 20 years later, working with Eric Ten Hag. And I've got to thank Eric, especially, for giving me that opportunity at Manchester United. And it was hard work for 2 years and lots of many ups and downs, and that's football. And we will have this year as well over the next 18 months, ups and downs, but we must stick together. And that's what we did at Manchester United. And I must thank Eric giving me the opportunity to do that. And really, when this job came up and I thought about it, it was a new challenge for me, and that's what I needed. I felt I'd done my job. I'd been there 2 years. I'd helped Eric to establish himself in the Premier League, establish himself at Manchester United, to know what Manchester United was all about. We won the Carabao Cup in the first year, Champions League football. Second year, we suffered, but we finished the season on a high with an FA Cup final. And I thought it was the ideal time to leave Manchester United on such a high. But I was so excited about the opportunity here and what I knew was here. And I knew the potential. I knew the talent. I knew what the JFF were working towards. They've been doing that for the last 2-3 years since I joined the ecosystem. And I love a challenge. And it's an exciting one. It's a World Cup. It's a World Cup. When I look at the history, 98 was the last time Jamaica was in the World Cup. The World Cups I've been to 2002, 2006 in Japan and Germany, even the Euros with England. You can't believe what an absolute unbelievable experience a World Cup can be. And that's what we must sell, that dream. We sell to everybody. But my job, our job, everybody's job on the island, every Jamaican in the world, is to make that vision come alive, to make that dream come alive. And the key is the players. It's always the players. I talked about that before, about the talent that is available, not just on the island, which I know, but also around the world, to tap into that, get the best players here, put them together. You know, when I mention it to people back in the UK, the potential people that we could bring into the team, wow, it could be a great team. It could be a great team. And that's what we want to build. This job is not just about working, it's about recruiting, it's about getting the best players and then getting them to commit, to buy into a culture, to buy into Jamaican culture, to buy into the Jamaican way of playing. I think the last coach, Jaime, certainly demonstrate that and has left the team in a good place. I hope I can take that on and develop it even further.
Thank you very much, Roger. Let's go to Jerome and then we go to Mr. Blake. So Jerome, Television Jamaica.
Morning, Coach.
Morning.
You have been identified as a modern coach. For the neutral looker or I would say the layman, just outline what that means in terms of what is it that you're going to be carrying through for the next 18 months, given that the World Cup is the main goal.
It's it's using all my experience. I'm here to help. I can't do it on my own. We need everybody around. And I come with a lot of experience, 35 years of management. I come with a lot of coaching experience, international, club level, top 5 leagues in the world. The last 2 years, I've worked at Manchester United. Arguably, I know some will disagree, being Arsenal or Chelsea, but
Arguably, is an operative word.
yeah,
I agree.
we all agree. We all agree. One of the best, if not the best club in the world. I've worked there for two years, worked there previously 20 years ago. And every day on the grass, every day on the bench at the games in the Premier League, the best league in the world. And that experience and what we won, and I've won previously, you could say that I feel I'm ready for this job and want this job, so I'll take it on.
You mentioned that this role is more than just coaching, but it also includes recruiting. A lot of talk has been made about having more of our English-born players really invited into the team. Will this be a strategic approach from you to get more of those players who actually haven't even represented Jamaica as yet at this point in the World Cup qualification push?
Like I said, the progress that has been made in Jamaica the last 2 or 3 years on the island, producing quality players who are good enough, and that's the key to it, is players who are good enough to play for the national team. I was talking with Simon, I think he mentioned 14 have made their debuts from local players playing in the Premier League this year, have made their debuts in the national team. That's incredible. It's an incredible number. So the work that is going on behind the scenes on the island is working. But we want to get to a World Cup. And to get to a World Cup, we want to be a good team. To be a good team, you need the best players. And the best players, the better the chances. So if that means we can use heritage players from the UK, from America, then we will do that. That's the ambition. And local players, they've got to be good enough. Heritage players, they've got to be good enough. But the key thing is, it's okay being good enough. It's okay having the talent. But on this project for the next 18 months, the commitment of the players, the commitment from the staff, the commitment from the committee, the commitment from everybody, supporters included, is incredible if we're to succeed. And that's the key. You're coming here for a purpose, to play and represent Jamaica. And you've got to be proud of that. And if they're proud of that and they commit, and the talent that is out there, we have a very good chance.
Yeah, I don't want to hog the press conference. One more question. One of our leading players, Leon Bailey, I'm sure you know about him. He hasn't played for the country since March, I think, or last year, November. And I think he was suspended by the Federation recently. Yeah, he has been suspended by the Federation. Are you aware of this situation, and what is it that you're going to be doing from now to get him back into the program?
Like everything I do with all the players, and you know, a big part of this is about recruitment. And I like that recruitment. I like connecting with players. I like talking with players. And the most important thing with Leon is to talk to him, to connect, to communicate. And it's a clean sheet. With me coming in, I know a little bit about the history. I know a little bit about what's going on. I understand top players. I understand them. And it's a conversation that we will definitely have. My intention, I only left Manchester on Monday. I come here to meet everybody. As soon as I go back, phone calls to all the players. Go see all the players. I'm quite fortunate, Leon is not far from where I live, so I'll be contacting in the car on the way to meet. See what the situation is, see what his mind is like. Because what I've heard from from coaches, from Meron, what I've heard from the president, Mr. Speed, Mr. Chung, is that the boy's an asset. He's a damn good player. I know that. I suffered knowing that. And you need good players, but you need them to commit. And that's the important thing. So conversations with all these players is the most important thing on the agenda for me when I obviously get the next few days out the way. I go back and I speak to all the players. Who is committed for this dream, for this vision? Who wants to play in a World Cup? Who wants to play in a World Cup? That's the question.
Thanks very much, Jerome. Let's now go to Mr. Blake and then we'll go to CVM.
Thank you, Simon. Two questions for the coach. Cataract, the boy in the Ultras, we welcome you. Welcome to Jamrock. The supporters welcome you. Excellent selection by the technical committee, Mr. Speed, Mr. President, Gensec, for making this happen. As a Yorkshire boy, welcome you to Jamaica as well. The only Leeds United supporter here on the island. We'll forgive you for your association with Manchester United.
Now.
But Coach, I wanted to piggyback on a question asked earlier. Could you delve a little bit into, for my first question, your philosophy, your footballing philosophy, and how can we expect to see our national team play similarly or differently under your guidance? That's the first question, and then
yeah, I think the style. I think I have to discover what the Jamaican culture is like, the Jamaican player, the Jamaican way of play. I've studied a lot of games which Jaime used and had previously with Jamaica, and it was a conversation that me and Mr. Speed had, that during the process I was stuck on one system. I said the system and the way of playing depends on the players, and if we can get the best players in and get a style and a system and a way of playing that gets the best out of the best players, that is the best. So that's what I'm studying now. Many games in the past, going back, looking at individual players, and we talked about being adaptable. And I think Coach Jaime was very adaptable with the team, and I think we need to be as well. But I think the key principles will always be in football. You have to be so hard to beat. You have to commit. You have to be a good team without the ball. You have to be organized. You have to defend the box for your life. You have to make sure that you're hard to play against. You must be able to play football. And the Jamaican players that I've seen, they can play football. They can deal with the ball. They can handle the ball. They want the ball. And I don't know, and I'm hoping to learn that flair and creativity is paramount in a Jamaican team. And we have got flair and ability and creativity in the players. I've seen that at close hand. I've seen it in the games. So they're the three things. But they are nothing without togetherness, without team spirit, without fighting for each other, running for each other, working hard for each other, all towards a common goal. And whenever I've been in a successful team, it's been a line from the top to the bottom, from Mr. President all the way down to somebody who, you know, might have the lowest job, they think, but no, nobody does. And the key, we're all aligned in that, is for the players and their key. So flexibility, adaptability, getting the best players in the right system, playing in the positions that they're used to, square pegs in square holes, we always call it, to get the best out of them. We can be a major force.
And the second question, that's from the subscribers of Trey Anyweather Sports in Palm Beach and Sports Prophecy TV in Denmark, who I'm a local correspondent for. The question really is about heritage players. the Achilles heel for Jamaica has been our CDM, Central Defensive Midfield, in the past couple of years, just our unprofessional assessment. And the questions that have come in have surrounded really two heritage players who you may or may not. And the question is what relationship you have with these players and how confident you are that you are able to attract them and bring them over the line. The first being Mason Greenwood from Manchester United, not a CDM, but Isaac Hayden, who joined Newcastle in your last year there in 2016. What are your relationship with these two players? And are you confident you can bring them over the line?
Yeah, I know the players. I know the players very well. Strange because I met Mason in Manchester United training ground about 3 weeks ago before the announcement was made. So I had to be very careful what to say to him. But we had a little conversation. We've had a conversation since. And what I want to do is to go, like I'm going to do with everybody when I get back, is to go meet them, is to have a conversation with them and find out the reality of the situation and whether they actually want to come all the way here to play for Jamaica. Again, it's the commitment of the players. So there are two players who should be of interest to us. They're very good players. And I will be making sure that I have a conversation with all the players. The president, Mr. Speed, Mr. Chung have shown me a list of potential targets, potential lists. I know them all very well. I know their agents well. And believe you me, when I get home, I'll be busy on the phone.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Whoa!
Thank you very much, Mr. Blake, Mr. Coach McClaren. Yes,
From
Ronaldo
a Leeds
Adams.
United fan, typical.
Yes, go ahead, Ronaldo.
Ronaldo Adams, CVM Sports. Coach McClaren, welcome to Jamaica.
Thank you.
As you will learn in the coming months, we are very passionate about our sports. We love football. And despite being a third world nation, we're also very hard to please.
They're the main part.
World nation, we're also very hard to please.
They're the main part. And, you know, I've had it the last 2 years, ups and downs, success, failure. That's football. That is Jamaican football. That is all football. And it's only in the bad times. It's only when you fail, when you may lose a game or draw a game you're not expected, or somebody didn't do this, they're the times that you must stick together. And it's not just about a federation. It's not just about the coaching staff. It's not just about a bunch of players. It's about the supporters. It's about this island. It's about everybody who's Jamaican. It's the heritage, even abroad. They've got to be proud of their country. You know, I represented, assistant, and managed England. I know what that's like. I know it, the intensity and the scrutiny. And that's what you expect. That's right. But amongst it all, we must stick together. And there will be ups and downs. And there'll be times when we're going, what is the coach doing? Why is he picking him? What is he doing that for? Why did he change him? Why did he do that? And that's football. And that will be for the next 18 months. So, you know, I always say it's a roller coaster. So we're getting on the roller coaster ride. And it's not all downhill and thrills. There's also going to be bad times. But the supporters, the players, the staff, the federation, aligned, all together, you come through. And you come through stronger. I've seen that happen. I've followed Jamaica over the last 3 years. I've seen it happen. And the strength of any federation, of any team, is in the bad times. We stick together. So I ask the supporters to do that.
Thank you very much, Ronaldo. Jamaica Glena over here. You may go inside Livingston.
Yes, coach. For the last
2 or 3 coaches, probably even longer, we have been having problems with our midfield and retaining possession of the ball comfortably. Any ideas, any plans, how you're going to impact that?
Yeah, I'd love to say, tomorrow, right, you all keep the ball better, but that's the ability they must possess. And that's what I mean. That's what I have to study, we call it, I always like to call it, we find a way to win, because it's about winning at the end of the day. You can have performances, and you have good performances, and you might draw, you might lose, but we must have a consistency of performance. And that is one area in which I look at the team and, yeah, we could do with better. But if we can't, then we have to find other ways to win, other ways to build up, other ways to play. It's about, Sir Alex Ferguson always said to me, Steve, football's about 2 boxes. You defend 1 box with your life, nobody scores. And you make sure you get bodies in here that are so creative and one-on-one and match winners that you win games. And in the middle, you have a fight. And it's so true. And in Jamaica, what I've seen in the games, defensively, very good. Creativity, very, very good. And yes, the middle, we need to find a solution. And we're trying to do that. And we'll look to do that, whether that's recruitment or development of individual players. So it's a journey which begins today. I'm excited about that. Can't wait to get the squad together, the group together, that first camp, and to build and progress from that.
How important were the English-based players or England-born players, well, both, to you making your decision and even in your long-term plans with the team?
Sorry, what was that?
The English-born players, English-based players, how important were they to your plans coming into the team and even long-term and what you're planning to do?
Anybody who has got Jamaican heritage and is passionate to play for their country and shows that passion and commitment, and the goal is World Cup 26. That's something which should excite everybody. So that's part of, sometimes you recruit players and you've got nothing to give them. You've got nothing to sell. Here, we've got this best-selling product going, World Cup 26, 18 months. A lot of games in between. Let's get started.
The reason why I asked that question, Coach, a lot of people believe that with your English background, it will be a lot easier for you to communicate with the English-based players.
Yeah, I think, I've been in football a long time now, and the introduction of foreign players, especially from different cultures, has been absolutely fantastic. From the times of when I was at Derby County, and I remember Dion Burton and Darryl Powell. Yeah, and it was incredible, but I didn't know I just come to my mind now when I see the pictures in '98, you were in the World Cup and they were part of the squad. And I was there in '98 coaching them. So it's so important to get that feeling. I speak a lot with Darryl Powell. I know him very well. Still passionate about Jamaica, even though he's been in the UK. And that's what we need. Not players just turning up and wanting to, it's nice, international football. No. World Cup.
That's one more, Coach. Can we have an idea? I don't know if any of the other gentlemen take it up, what the rest of your backroom staff will look like.
No, as I say, I'm over here on a more fact-finding trip. I want to know as much as possible about how the federation is run, what the vision is, what they see, what resources we've got, coaching staff, the supporters going around, getting a feeling. But I think the excitement is not just knowing the potential talent of this, but I love a challenge. I love different experiences. And looking around and the welcome that I got last night, today, and knowing Jamaica, this is going to be a good experience.
Thanks very much, Livy. Much appreciated. We could accommodate one more question and then we wrap up this press conference. Appreciate everybody being here. Do we have any further questions? All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. All right. One, just last one, Livingston.
Looking forward to anything for your first game on September 6th.
Sorry.
Looking forward to anything special for your first game on September 6th.
3 points.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. And details, you can purchase your tickets on Jamaica Football Federation website for the game against Cuba. And a further press conference will be made in relation to the squad announcement. Thank you very much, everybody.